All right. Well, first off, thank you for all joining, and thank you for continuing to work hard, because I definitely see the progress. And those of you that have been with me for a long time, you're going to appreciate this presentation, because you know more than anybody that this is not a steady, smooth progress, and that it definitely has its bumps. And with a program like this, I never know who's coming in, and I never know how much weight loss baggage, as I call it, people have. And I don't like to call it weight loss experience, because we all have weight loss experience, and weight loss baggage is a different story, because we all have different sensitivities. We all have different experiences on how we've lost weight, and how it's been taught to us, and that all impacts our mind and our way of thinking. I had somebody yesterday text me after the presentation to say that she wasn't going to continue and sign up for another session, because she said the program wasn't working until she watched this presentation. And my heart kind of sunk, and I was like, the program's not working. And she said, well, I realized after I watched the presentation that I'm not on the program. She's like, I haven't been on the program. She's like, I've been kind of doing my own thing. And I was like, oh, you know, and I think sometimes seeing this sort of stuff makes you realize that. And we do that with everything, not only a program like this, but literally everything. Whether it's something as simple as a class that we're taking, or something as complex as parenting. We tend to get away from what the rules are, and what we're supposed to be doing. And this is why I love so much that we have this technology now, because before this, I wasn't able to speak this way and capture people. So with that being said, no matter what you purchase, no matter what you commit to, it's never going to be as passionate as when you first start. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a gadget, whether it's a car, a house, a pet, you know, we're always really into it at first, you know, and then we start to kind of let it slide. And in the other presentations, I talked about, you know, a car. When I buy a car, you know, I'm taking it to the car wash, I'm parking, you know, way down, you know, miles away from the store, and walking, and, you know, nobody's eating in the car, nobody's, you know, wiping, you know, shoes are being wiped, and you know, 2 months later, there's French fries wedged between every seat, and jelly beans, you know, stockpiled underneath everywhere. And, you know, I have dings, and I've hit every curb known to man. So, and my husband will attest to that. So this is just what happens. It's human nature. So it is no surprise that this is going to happen with something as complex as eating, because eating is 24/7, and we are constantly tempted with foods, and with temptations of wanting to eat things that aren't on the plan. So it's normal to veer off, and it's also normal to not realize that you're veering off. And that is usually the biggest culprit, is we get comfortable and we don't realize that we're veering off. And that's called mindless. You're just being mindless about it because you're comfortable. And then we lose motivation, because when we don't see the results happening as strongly as the beginning, we lose motivation. You know, at the beginning, you're losing weight really fast, and you're feeling really good. So of course it's going to make you get up and cook and exercise, and And when your behaviors start slipping, you're not going to see the results. Therefore, your motivation is going to drop. And so it's just this escalated downhill slippery slope that leads usually to quitting. And this usually happens right about 6 weeks. So if you're brand new, this is about when it's going to happen. And if you've been with me for a while, you know, when we start a new session, there is something to be said about that renewing of motivation when we do start a new session, and it does kind of drop off once we are kind of midway through. So I want to regenerate your motivation, and I want to show you what things naturally happen around this time to hopefully keep you from having that happen. And with that being said, I want to teach you the right ways to incorporate healthy splurges to keep your motivation high and to keep you from being overly deprived. Because when we deprive ourselves, that's usually when we tend to cheat, and that's usually when we tend to get frustrated and go the other direction. So any questions about that so far? Okay, before I get into my presentation, I do want to address the differences between the months in the program. When I first began doing these, I was basically just writing meal plans for my clients. And then when the internet was invented and Facebook, and then I was able to reach people that I was not geographically near, I was writing more and more of them. I was just writing them. And then when I developed this program, I actually created a curriculum. My original degree is in education and my master's is in curriculum and instruction. And so I have a curriculum. The first month, I'm giving you a meal plan. I'm not doing anything but giving you a meal plan with the basics. The second month, same thing. I know as an educator that you can't handle more than that, no matter what your level is. But that's when I start talking about macros, and I start talking about fats and proteins, and I start letting you move things around. Like, you don't like nuts? All right, well, add this instead. By the third month, I'm giving you a little bit more freedom. And already now, by the second month, you know that you can start swapping out meats and different proteins. But when you move into the second program, you're getting a lot more flexibility, because reality is you cannot live on a meal plan all the time. The nice thing about the meal plans is that you're getting constant ideas. But by the time you sign up for your second session, I am not torturing you with having you measure out a half a cup of oatmeal every single day with a cup of almond milk. By now, you're able to just make a batch for the week. You know, and I have it scripted that way. You know, 2 cups of raw oatmeal with 4 cups of almond milk. Boom, you by now, after 3 months, should be able to figure out how to divide that up and eat 1 portion for a day. It's a time saver. You know how to do it. You mastered Fitness Pal. You have figured it out. If I even try to do that at month 1, I would lose everybody and lose my mind all at the same time. It would be like mass destruction. So I slowly move you up as you get more comfortable. Just like I said when you started, you're in kindergarten, you're writing your name. Next session, you're starting to write in cursive. By the time you get to a year, the people that are loyal members, they're creating recipes, and they have a whole different knowledge base because they've they have a year under their belt. So that's the progression of it. So I don't want members to think that you're just getting meal plans. There's definitely a progression in the curriculum. Okay, all right, so I have created a little scenario for you all of these little characters that are pretty realistic in life, I think. I've named them Get You Fit characters, and as I go through them, you might recognize them all as people in your life at one point or now, but I don't want you to think that I'm talking about you as I'm going through these. The first night that I did this, people literally were like, she's talking about me. And I turned the slide. Oh, that's me, she's talking about me. No, I'm actually talking about myself. These are all me at different points in my life through my diet fiascos, and they might be you as well. And by the third night, I went through and I dug through pictures on Facebook, and it wasn't easy, but I did find some pictures of me when I was struggling. So you'll see some weight differences in me throughout this as well. So I'm going to share my screen, and okay. So here we have a scenario. This is perfect Pilates Patty. The green symbolizes that she stayed on schedule and within her calories for all of these days. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, she is perfect. She is right on plan. And there are a lot of people that do that. Just every breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, right on plan. But she gets the kids to bed and she treats herself every night. And this is where she stops logging, because she figures in her head that she's been perfect. So just to give you an idea, these are the calories that she's gone over every night by this mindless munching. And I know it sounds like a lot, but this is 2 glasses of wine, 3 Triscuits, and 3 slices of cheese on each Triscuit. Yes. This, same thing, but she had 4 Triscuits and with the slice of cheese on top. It's her little treat every single night. I mean, it's not much. On this night, she only had the wine. She didn't work out, so she decided, you know, I'm gonna just have the wine. And again, glass of wine, Triscuits, and she's being really good about it. Triscuit, Triscuit, Triscuit. She'll cut the cheese. She's not measuring it, but keep in mind, 1 piece of cheese the size of a cigarette lighter is 100 calories. So put that on a Triscuit, eat 3 of them, and there you go. Well, on Sunday, she decides it's Sunday, it's the weekend, so she throws some olives and makes herself a little tray, and neighbors come over and blah, blah, blah. There's some almonds on there and some figs, and here we go. So here is her week. She went over by 4,000 calories just in cheese and wine. She worked out 5 days a week, burnt 1,900 calories. She ate perfect. I mean, perfect. She went over by 2,100 calories. Therefore, that's a 2.4 pound gain a month. How frustrating is that? And this is somebody that would look at her fitness pal and go, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Who goes out shopping, who preps, who does all of that, and would say, I deserve to have my wine. And absolutely she does, but we can't change the fact that she's going over. So next, we have 2 steps forward, fierce Fiona. Fiona's a marathon runner. She's fierce, and she's about 20 pounds heavier than she normally is, and she can't figure out why. So she's really sticking to her diet right here and sticking within her calories. She ran 10 miles this day. Next day, sticks to her calories, 7 miles. She gets on the scale. She's so frustrated because it is not moving. So next day she gets up, she makes a big bowl of oatmeal. She's feeling really weak. She dumps some peanut butter on there, some berries, some nuts. Next thing you know, she makes herself a coffee, puts some cream in there, doesn't measure it. It's 1,000 calories. For lunch, she goes to Chipotle. She has a burrito bowl, guacamole. You guys, look it up. I'm not kidding. 1,200 calories. She didn't have a burrito. She had a burrito bowl. She doesn't have a snack because she's so full from lunch. But then at dinner, she goes out to dinner. She has a couple bites of shrimp. She has a starter salad. She has salmon, baked potato, broccoli, 1,500 calories. Snack, whatever. Okay. She did not feel like she did that bad, but she did not run that day. She's feeling guilty. She gets up the next day. She runs 10 miles. Perfect day, perfect day, perfect day. And then she has another step back and just usual bowl of cereal, whatever it is, okay? And gets up the next day, runs 10 miles. So here she is. She ran 50 miles that week. She had 5 amazing days, and that's all she's thinking. I had 5 amazing days. She went over by 9,600 calories. Despite the fact that she ran 50 miles, she still had a 4,600 calorie overage, which puts her at a 5.2 a month gain. And it's so aggravating. But whether or not this is a marathon, rather take out the equation of all this running. People will do this. They'll have 2 amazing days, and then they'll have 2 days where they don't stay on the plan. And the numbers don't need to be this high. But this is a picture of me running Chicago Marathon, I don't know, 2005, one of them, where I am 30 pounds heavier. And I literally would beat my head up against the wall. And I could not figure out why I could not lose weight. And it was those behaviors. And I mean, there were weeks I was running 90 miles. It's crazy. So next, galloping, grazing grace. This one is probably the most common of all. She is the one that eats pretty good all day. And all these little bites and nibbles are mindless munches. This is a handful of almonds. This is half a glass of orange juice that was sitting on the table. This was finished off her son's mac and cheese. This was undocumented oatmeal. This was, you get it. This was my favorite. I have 4 kids. We'd go to Starbucks. I'd order like the skinniest latte ever. Like I'd almost strangle the lady. Are you sure you're using sugar-free syrup? Are you sure? Are you sure? And then my kids would all order, you know, frappuccinos and cookie cream. And I would take sips out of each one of theirs multiple times. That had to be 300 calories every time I went to Starbucks. I'd never counted it, ever. I mean, here's boom, 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 every single time. Those are not free calories. And so throughout the day, every single one. A bite of someone's yogurt, You know, and it's usually stuff that we're not supposed to have. You know, again, I have 4 kids. We all go for ice cream. I'm not going to have ice cream, but I'm like, "Ooh, Samantha, let me taste yours. Ooh, that's good. Nick, what flavor did you get? Ooh, yeah." I mean, if it's 280 calories a scoop, it's going to add up. So in her case, this one isn't terrible, but she burnt 1,400. She consumed 3,000 in bites and nibbles. That's a 1,600 calorie overage, which is a 1.8 pound gain. So this person here is the one that's 188, 189, 188, 189, 188, 189 for months on end, and the scale's not moving. That is that person. And that's a lot of people. And this is the most horrifying picture of me, but I'm sharing it anyways. And this was in 2016, when I stopped weighing myself because I would not face the scale. And one day I finally got on the scale, and I went through a day, and I counted all the bites and nibbles as I ate them, and it was about 800 calories a day. I did the Starbucks drinks, the McDonald's drink. One time my daughter had a McDonald's large. It's 1,000 calories. I drank about that much of it. I mean, that's 200 calories. I'd be like, "Ava, do you want McDonald's?" Just so I could take some of it. I mean, a couple fries. And so, all right. And when I did stop, I dropped probably 20 pounds, like instantly. All right. So then we have the Committed to Cheat Day Charlotte, where you stick to the plan really good, and you hold out for the weekends. And on the weekend, you decide you're going to splurge, go out to breakfast, nothing terrible, egg white omelet, some hash browns, coffee, step off, you know, Starbucks, Frappuccino, sushi for lunch, whatever, you know, pizza, all in one day. And in this case here, you again gained. And again, this is the person that's 222, 224, 223, 223, 224, 220. I mean, it's the, and this person here is only remembering all of this. They're just thinking, because I mean, this is the majority of their hard work, and it's all getting tossed away right here. So these are reasons that people get frustrated and eventually quit. And I want to draw your attention to this because it's very common. And I, for years, thought that my metabolism was broken. I can't tell you how many pregnancy tests I took, thinking I got to be pregnant this time. I thought my thyroid. I mean, it was legitimately really in my head that I thought something was wrong with me, until I laid it all out and started logging. And every single time the weight came off, and every single person that you see in those before and after pictures has faced the music by seeing their behaviors. So what is one to do when they want to enjoy something? Because you cannot be all green all the time. You can't. So let me introduce you to Sally. Realistic and sustainable Sally. So at this point, you guys have been with me long enough and with the program long enough that you understand the value of food, and you understand what happens if you go off plan, that you should be able to implement a sustainable, controlled meal that you want to enjoy when you want to enjoy it. But it's to be controlled, and you it's, you have the variables, and you can watch what happens after you do it, to determine how often you can do it and how often you want to do it. So this is Realistic and Sustainable Sally. She follows along with the program. She doesn't go all crazy with the exercise, because I've learned that you can't over exercise thinking that you're going to burn it all off. It does not work that way. So she just goes for walks. She does her 3 classes a week, or her three workouts a week, and all the other days, you know, she does something light, yoga or walks. And she doesn't really have a plan for when she's gonna have this cheat. Oftentimes people always plan it for the weekends, but it doesn't always work that way. So in this case, it's Wednesday and she's going out to lunch with her girlfriends, and she's planning on having a salad. But she gets there and her friend's having a burger, and her other friend's having a burger, and burger. And she's like, gosh, a burger sounds really good. I really kind of want a burger. And at that time, she really does want a burger. She's not having it because she's following the crowd. She truly wants a burger. So Sally, have the flippin' burger. Don't deprive yourself, because the second you do that, you are going to fail. So control it. Be mindful. Look at the burger. Don't have one that's oozing with cheese and oozing with fried onions, and don't have one that's like a triple, quadruple bypass waiting to happen. Make it something that you're not going to regret. So in this case, Sally orders the burger. She says no cheese, no mayo, piles on extra, veggies, and burger comes, and burger's still 800 calories, because that's what burgers are. And she doesn't get the fries, but she has fruit instead. So despite all that, it's still 1,000 calories. She logs it. She looks around. Friend, 2,000 calories, 2,000. She is like, I am eating my burger, feeling good. She eats her burger. It's the best thing in the world. She gets out of the restaurant, doesn't really need a snack, eats her dinner, has her dinner, whatever, goes on with her day, wakes up the next day. Scale might be up a little bit because of the sodium. She knows it's just sodium. Friday, everything's back to normal. Saturday, scale keeps going down. Sunday, scale keeps going down. Monday, boom, 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 boom. It's realistic. She had her burger. Life is good. See the difference? So that's how you do it. Otherwise, what happens in the past when I've been this person or this person, I would go have lunch and I'd be like, oh, I really want a burger. I'm not supposed to have a burger. I really want a burger. I'm not supposed to have a burger. Okay, screw it. I'll take a burger, with bacon and cheese and make it a double. Oh, totally. Yeah, I'll take the fries. Yeah. Can I have ranch? All right, awesome. Yeah. Oh, and I'll take a margarita. Sure, perfect. And literally, as I'm doing that, I'm texting my husband going, can we get Chinese tonight? No joke. Because I am derailed and I am planning on, because then the day looks like this. Got it? So now I've caused so much damage. And then the scale is going up, and I'm defeated. And now I don't know what to do. So now, going back to Sally, can I do it again next week? If I want. Don't do it because it's there. When you're losing weight and you don't want to do it, then don't. But if you feel like it, there's been times where I haven't done it for 2 weeks and I'll be at the store and I'll be like, ooh, I haven't had a whatchamacallit. I really want a whatchamacallit. That was it for the week. I mean, so stupid, but you know, you got to scratch the itch when you have it. But don't eat the cake because someone sticks it in front of your face and you feel like that's what you have to do, because that makes no sense. So what if then you start getting gutsy, because it's gonna happen, and then you go, all right, well, I'm gonna do it again, and then the scale starts 188, 189, 188, 189, 188, 189. And I get the text, Irene, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, scale's not moving. Well, then you can't do it twice in 1 week. So that's how you know how often you could do it. And some of you might be able to do it more often than others. But if you're brand new and you're just starting, twice in a week is too much. You know, down the road when your metabolism's stable, you might be able to do it more. And believe me, I have tried. I've gone so pushing the envelope where I went 2 straight weeks of complete just let me see how I could push it, and the scale didn't move. I mean, I was just like, when we moved into this house, I was off completely. I'd get on the scale every day. I'd be like, holy crap, doing it again. And then the day came where it stopped moving, and I knew, all right, enough's enough. So, but we're talking since 2016, 4 years of solid, no messing around. So you have to report to the warden. And what I mean by that is you have to get on that scale the next day. Because that is your proof of how your body's going to react to that. Okay. And to me, this is the best, because and here's me on my 50th birthday, happy as a clam. And you know, 50 was not the easiest thing to turn, but I had a moment, and I haven't really shared this with anybody. I didn't share it with anybody in the other groups. I had a moment when before I turned 50 where I was like, you know, if somebody tapped me on the shoulder when I was struggling in my 30s and said, hey, when you're 50, you're gonna look like that, and you're gonna really not struggle with food, and you're gonna be able to eat way more than you're eating now. And I'd be like, are you kidding? Yes. What am I complaining about? Right? So, you know, wrinkles, gray hair, big deal. So it's the most fulfilling thing to not feel like you are in food hell, food jail, you know? But again, don't push it. So Vicky texted me yesterday. She says she's going to Montera. She's been with me now for 9 months. Yeah, ish. Yeah. You know, and I would say to her, if you get there and you know, we were looking at the menu, and if you get there and you want to eat something, pick what you want, but tell them, you know, no butter and no this and no that, you know, trim off the excess fat and enjoy it. But don't have a salad. You've worked too hard, because that is when you are going to resent this. And there is no human being on earth that can go forever without some enjoyment. I don't care who you are. I've been doing this a long time. There's no way. There's no way. So I am going to unshare the screen, and then I'm going to unmute you. And then I am going to, I don't know if I can unmute you. I'm going to open it up for, I think you have to unmute yourself. Oh, here we go. Got it. I am going to open it up to, some of you I cannot unmute. I learned that yesterday. So if I can't unmute you, you have to unmute yourself. But any questions, reactions, concerns about this? Because it is a little scary.
Well, I want to know what people do when, like, every once in a while I get a bad sugar craving. And
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I'll give in and I'll have the little piece of chocolate instead of eating the whole bag. But there's times where I just don't want to stop eating the whole bag. What do people, what's a good way for me to get myself out of that?
So I find that sugar cravings, you know, the second you have a little bit of sugar, your insulin levels spike, and you literally get taken over. And it's a physiological response where you want more sugar. You could take somebody that doesn't even like sugar and give them sugar, and they will want more sugar. So if you get these sugar cravings, my advice, and I find that this has always worked, is to have a plan. So instead of just grabbing something, you know, make a sweet treat. So for example, the you know, the summer sampler,
Yeah.
or some of the treats that were you know, like the pro nuts, or you know, really something that is, you know, you're further along than some of the other people that are brand new, but something that fits in your calories, that is something you enjoy, but put it on a plate and have it. And
Okay.
have it be a plan. Because what happens too often is we graze, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna have one, and then you have 12. So you know, one time I went with the I'm gonna buy Hershey Kisses because, you know, I can just have one. Well, one turned to 9 because 9 is the serving size on the packet. So initially,
Exactly.
I was like, okay, well, I'll have one. Then it went to 9, and then it turned into Irene's shit show, and that was, who knows how many I had. You know, I mean, there was no plan for me. So instead, I would make, whether it was like a scoop of ice cream, you know, so it's 200 calories. That's still less than eating 14 Hershey Kisses.
Okay.
You know, and not only that, but you you know, if you log it and you work it into your diet, or your day rather, it'll soothe your sweet tooth. The other thing is to, the more you work on pulling it out of your day, the less you're going to have it. Because I had such a terrible sweet tooth before, and I can't believe that I literally kicked it out. I mean,
Okay.
I had such a sugar addiction, that I had candy in my old house when I used to be a trainer. I had candy in every corner of my gym. And when I realized that I was crashing, which meant I would get so tired, like around 12, 1 o'clock, where it was like somebody injected me with a narcotic. I was so tired. And I started doing research, and I'm like, oh, that's a crash. I was like a zombie. I would walk around and just go to these areas where the candy was, looking for candy. And when I wouldn't find it, I would like rummage, like, who's got me? And once I got rid of it, like now, the other day I took my daughter to Five Below, and she got a Snicker bar, which is my favorite in the whole world. And she's like, Mom, do you want a bite? And I looked at it and I was like, I couldn't believe I did not even want it. So you'll break away from it if you start to break away from it. But that's the hardest part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any other questions? Okay. So
no questions.
Yeah.
I say no questions, but I do appreciate going through that presentation, because I could see myself, especially on those sabotage days, I call it, where you did bad maybe in the morning. Oh, what the heck? Okay, I'm already bad. I might as well just do bad in the afternoon, And it was a snowball for that day. And then I thought, well, tomorrow's a new day. I could just start over. But it does catch up with you. So
Yep.
thanks
Yeah.
for
I was very mindful in some of my days where I would do that. Where, and you know what saved me is I encourage you to do this. I started logging when I would go off track. So for example, when I had my sweet tooth, I had such a problem with like the 3 o'clock. I'd eat like an Oreo cookie. Before I had celiac, I would eat an Oreo cookie, which was 55 calories. And then I'd eat 3 because the package says 3 is a serving. I must have OCD or something. And so I would eat 3, and that would be 160 or something. And I would not log it. So in my brain, I thought I was derailed. So when I wouldn't log, I would eat 6. And then I would keep grabbing things, and we'd be eating pizza that night for dinner. And I mean, I would literally have like a plan. I'd be like, all right, I'd be on my way to go teach a spin class, and I'd be stopping at Starbucks, getting whatever Frappuccino I craved that I hadn't had in forever. You know, it was like this like, let me see what I can fit in today, you know? And I started instead logging it in my fitness pal. And I'm like, 155 calories, you know what I mean? You didn't ruin anything. You're good. And once I started seeing that, I was like, oh, sustainable Sally. So I would put the 155 in, I'd get on with my day, and I felt like that really saved it. I mean, I was so sensitive that I'd go out for breakfast, order my breakfast, I would do great. And then, you know how you sit there, you wait for the waitress? I would eat my kids' hash browns, and that was it. Derailed. I mean, it was so mental. So instead, I started logging so that I could see that it wasn't as bad. Because, you know, one cookie isn't bad. We think it's bad. Just like this burger.
Right.
You know, the burger, you'd be surprised. I mean, when I finally figured this out, I went to a business meeting once with my former business coaches, and they ordered Chipotle. And I was like, so I ordered the burrito bowl, and I put everything in it, you know, the rice and the guac and everything. I went on Fitness Pal, and it was 850 calories for the whole bowl. And so when the meeting started, I like drew a little imaginary line with little dots in my brain, and I ate half, and it was 425. Because there was no way. I mean, the whole thing was monstrous. I ate half, and then the other half I ate on the train on the way home. And I'm like, victory! I'm like, and it was so good. I hadn't had Chipotle in years. So years ago, I would not have done that. I would have been like, oh, well, I guess I got to eat the whole thing, you know? And not only did I deprive myself for probably 2 decades of things like that, but I also didn't realize that you know, you don't have to. It's the portions sometimes. It's not the food itself. It's the portions. So the other day I had somebody text me, and she was somewhere, and the only thing to eat was the hot dog. And I said, eat the hot dog. I'm like, do you like hot dogs? She's like, yes. I go, eat the hot dog. It's like 350 calories. Don't eat the coleslaw. Don't eat the potato salad. Don't eat the chips. Don't eat the. And she's like, oh, we don't think like that.
Yeah.
You know? And it's I don't know why we don't think like that. It's all or nothing syndrome is what it is. So she ate the hot dog, she logged it. She's like, that was the best hot dog ever. And she didn't get any weight. And then she's like, can I get hot dogs? Could I have them like regularly? And I said, you can, but you know, the sodium, and they're not the healthiest thing, but I mean, I guess. So
probably helped her digestion that day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So cool. All right. So on final note, I want to talk about registration for the next session. there is early bird discount that's good until August 3rd. The next session doesn't start until August 22nd, so you have plenty of time. But to get early bird discount, August 3rd will save you $25, $26 actually. And then to save 10, you can refer a friend if they sign up. To save an additional 10, you can do a Amazon review on Google and on my website. So that's 20 actually. So that's a really good way to save $56 if you wanted to continue. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, I'm going to put it in the newsletter each week because some people are eager to sign up now and some people don't want to sign up till much, much later. So to avoid the nightmare of me answering thousands of repeated texts, I'm just going to put the link every week in the newsletter. But to sign up, it's just right on the on my website. If you're a loyal member, you don't have to do anything. You are just literally, you just keep rolling over. And to become a loyal member, once you get to your 4th session, so you do 3 in a row, your 4th session, you become a loyal member, it's $100 a year, and you get all of everything for $100 a year. So you get meal plans, recipes, the whole bit, all these Zoom things, the whole shebang. Ongoing. So, pretty cool. All right. So any other questions? Awesome. All right, so I am going to make one of these a link. Somebody asked me, she said, I want to watch the segment of the characters over and over and over again. And I said, okay, maybe I'll like crop that part and make a link just for that. So, but thank you guys for joining, and you guys are doing an awesome job. So keep up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.